guys, so I've ironed out my seams. I've ironed them out, I ironed them open, and as you can see, I went ahead to add a little breast pad around the cup area. Okay, just little. I just did that to strengthen the seam around that part. Okay, so when I was ironing this seam, so I went ahead to add just a little breast pad. I used the softest one. Okay, it's the softest one that I'm working with, so I just added a little around the breast cup area just to strengthen it. So they are both ironed and it's looking nice and neat. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be doing is to bring the illusion piece and attach it to the princess seam. Okay, so I'm just trimming out my, so I'm going to, you can use your pins. Okay, so you can use your pins to pin them, so but I'm just going to pin it. So this is how they should match up. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it like this and I'm going to match them up together. I'm going to just put in some pins around there. Okay, so I'm just going to pin it around it. Okay, so now I can now start sewing. Okay, so after pinning, I'm going to start sewing. So I'll just take off my pins as I sew. Okay, so we're done sewing the illusion neckline. So the next thing to do now is to go and give it a really good press, guys. So we need to give this a good press. So remember, I wanted here to end at 0.5 inch and I wanted this part to end at 1 inch, so everything is nice and neat. Okay, so we are done sewing. So the next thing I need to do now is to go and give it a really good press, guys. So I need to give it a really good press. So now this is what we have sewn, so I need to go and give it a really good press. Then the next thing for us to do is to attach the breast cup. So this is what we have on the inside. Okay, so I'm just going to trim some of this thread away. So I've pressed it and this is what we have now. Okay, so the next thing we want to do now is to put in our already made breast cup. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to attach your breast cup. So the first thing I want to do is to come over to my underbust. I already know my underbust. You can see from the curve. Okay, you can see the parts where the cup is formed, but just to be sure, I'm going to take my tape measure and I'm going to measure it. Can you see the underbust of this person is 14 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to measure 14 inches around there and I'll chalk it. So I'll do the same thing for the other side. I'm just going to take my tape measure. I'll make sure I arrange my cup out like so. I'm going to take my tape measure and I'll 14 inches and I'll chalk it. So that's where I'm going to be placing my breast cup. So I'll bring my breast cup like so and I'll fold it into 2 equal half like this to be equal, and I'll place it here. I'll place it on the underbust. Okay, so I'm just going to be sewing against the seam only. So I'll do like this. So I'll fold away my seam to one side. I'll pick my cup, I'll fold it into 2 because I want to sew in the middle, and I'm going to place it on the underbust. So then I'll sew. So you just want to use multiple stitches there just to keep it down properly. Okay, so I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. So I've secured the bottom part. So I'm just going to do the same for the upper part. I'll fold it equally as well. I'll pick up the middle part against my seam allowance and I'll sew. So yeah, I'm just trying to sew multiple stitches, okay, to keep that down. It's very important, okay. So this is what we have, that my cup is inserted, guys. So my cup is in here now. So this is what I have for this part. This is what I have. So I'm now going to be putting my cup on the other side. So I'll repeat the same step for this part as well. I'll bring it down to my underbust. I'll pick up my seam allowance. I'll bring it down. I'll close my cup into 2 equal half. Then I'll place it and sew, okay. So my cup is secured now, guys. My cup is secured. So this is what I have after securing my cup, okay. So it's very easy, guys. It's very easy to attach a breast cup. So you're just going to measure from the top of your pattern, measure down to your underbust, and make sure you are placing your cup directly on your underbust place, okay. So your cup should sit on your underbust. So that's exactly what I just did here, and we are good to go. So the next thing that we need to do here is to bring in our lining. So I'm going to be bringing in my lining to turn it. So I'm not going to bring in my lining. So I've already gone ahead to join my lining piece together. I also went ahead to iron stay inside of my lining. So I'm going to be picking my lining like so. So this, I'm going to sew my lining, attach it to one side of this seam allowance. Can you see? I'm going to attach it to this side and I'll sew. I'll flip this over, then I'll do the same thing for the other side. I'll pick up my lining piece like so. So I'll fold this over, I'll bring in my lining piece, and I'll continue from the top of the curve, just the same way I joined the illusion piece to the side, to the princess seam, okay. So guys, we have closed up the both parts of the lining, okay. So, and this is what the inside is looking like at the moment. So this is the good side and this is the wrong side. So I've used my lining to close up all of the rough seam on the inside. So the next thing I want to do now is to turn my side seam. So I'm going to be closing the seam on the side. So I'll flip this over like so. So this is my side seam and this is another side seam. So I'm going to be flipping this over, tucking the other side on the inside so I can close up my seam, okay, like so. So I'm just tucking one part on the inside, so I can close up my side seam. So I'm just using a 0.5 seam allowance there to turn my lining and my main piece, okay. So I'll do the same thing, then I'll bring it out now. So that's one side is done. Okay, one side is closed, remaining this other side that is still open. So I'm also going to repeat the same process. I'm just going to pick this, I'll tuck all of this on the inside, then I'll flip it. Okay, I'll flip it like so. I'll flip it, then I can sew. So here I'm just closing up my side seam. Okay, I'm using my lining to turn up my side seam. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm doing here. Then I'm now going to bring it all the way out now. So now that my both side seam is closed, this part is also closed. So I'm going to take it to the ironing table and I'll iron that, and I'll do that off camera. So I'm going to give it a good press so it can all lay flat and neat. Okay, so this is what we have on the inside of our illusion neckline. This is what we have. Okay, and this is what the front is looking like, and this is what the inside is looking like. So I'll go and give it a good press, then I'll come and attach it to the bottom skirt. Now we are going to join it to the skirt part. So I'm going to be joining this part now to the skirt part. So the first thing I need to do is to bring in my skirt. I've already gone ahead to put in my lining, use my lining to turn my skirt already. Okay, so I did that off camera. So I'm going to flip my skirt to the wrong side. Okay, I'm going to be flipping my skirt to the wrong side. So this is the wrong side of my skirt. So I'm going to open up my skirt to the wrong side. Okay, this is the wrong side. So then I'm going to close it up and match it and find the middle. So I'm just going to notch the middle of my skirt. So then I'll take my pattern, my front piece as well, I'll close it up as well to find the middle, and I'll also give that a notch. Okay, so I'm also going to notch the middle part. Good. So I'm just going to place it, I'll tuck it inside my skirt. Guys, just watch what I'm doing. So I'm going to be tucking my upper piece inside my skirt. Okay, and I'll match them up front to front. I'll match it up, the middle part to the middle part, like so. So I'm going to be matching them up like so. So I'll put in my pins. Okay, I'll put my pins to secure that down. So I'm going to be sewing with 0.5 seam allowance. Okay, so my upper bodice is inside my skirt now. Then I'll sew. So I'm using a 0.5 inch seam allowance here. Okay, just going to keep sewing till you get to the other end. So now my bodice is tucked inside my skirt. So now it will be difficult for me to bring it out because everywhere is closed. So I'm just going to pick somewhere around the side seam of the skirt. Okay, I'm just going to open like 2 or 3 inches at the bottom, close to in between the bottom or the middle part. I'm just going to choose 3 inches. I'll use 3 inches open. Okay, so I'll open that up. This is where I'm going to be bringing out the bodice from. Okay, Then now I'll have to flip out my bodice like so. I'll just go gently and quietly and nicely. So I'll need to take this back to the iron, okay? But the lining I'm using is a good one. It's a cotton lining, so I don't really have much stress. So this is what I'll have at the end of the day, okay? So this is the reason why I had to tuck my skirt into my bodice into my skirt, because I wanted a clean finish in between the seam, okay? So now that that's done, I'll come back to the opening that I made. So you can take this to your iron and just use any gum to close it up, but I'll just put a nice stitch to close it up there. Nobody's going to know anyway. So it's all about perfect finishing, okay? So I'm just going to stitch that part up with a tiny stitch. Just going to close it up. It's not even going to show anyway, so I'll lock it down, because that part, all this part is part of the seam allowance, eh? So you just close that part up like so. So this is what I just did to close up that part, okay? So now I've succeeded in joining my upper bodice to my skirt, eh? So they are both joined together. I've succeeded in joining the two of them together, and this is what I have for the inside, okay? So I've joined the two of them together and I have this. Good. And I have this in the front like so, okay? Here's the wrong side and that's the good side. So everything I've done for this front, I'm going to repeat the same process for the back, okay? So here's my back. I've already gone ahead to turn my lining, okay? Already gone ahead to use my lining to turn the skirt. And here's the upper part, okay? So here's the upper bodice for the back. Here's the upper bodice for the back. So the same process I did for the front, I'm also just going to do it for the back. So you turn to the wrong side, you turn your skirt to the wrong side, then you tuck in your bodice into it, okay? So now this is my hip area. So this is the one that's going to go like so. So then I'll tuck in this one, okay, with the main fabric facing and the lining facing each other, okay? So this is what I will do, and I'll just match them up together. So but I'm going to be doing all of this off camera because you guys have already seen for the front. So this is what you do as well, okay? Exactly the same way we did the front. Your bodice is stuck inside, so I'm going to sew the back one and sew the front one, then I'll see you guys again. So guys, I've finished joining the back, okay? So I've joined the back bodice to the skirt part, okay? This is what we have on the inside. You can see the way this part is looking. This is very important. You can see we have opening here because of the zip budge that we did, okay? So by the time you bring them together, your zip will be flat and nice, okay? So when I place them like so, you can see I have this space here. That's the reason for the zip budge, eh? It's the reason for the zip budge that we did. So now this is the wrong side of my back, so I flip it over the front, so I have my back and my front, okay? This is my back joined together already. Can you see? So this is a church cloth, okay? Omega Fire. So I've joined the back and the front as well, you can see. So I've also gone ahead to join the upper bodice to the skirt, okay? So the next thing that I need to do now is to join them together at the shoulder seam, okay? So I'm just going to place my front shoulder and my back shoulder together and match them up like so, eh? So I'm going to be matching them up. So I'll open it up and I'll open the other one and I'll place them together. So I'm just going to be sewing straight, eh? So there are some little, I don't know if I should call them stones on this lace, okay? So I'll match the two midpoints together, right side facing. I'll just use my pin to keep it down, then I'll sew. So remember, I added 0.5 inch seam allowance to my shoulder measurement. That's what I'm actually going to use to sew it all the way up, okay? So here I'm just sewing my shoulders together. Our dress is almost ready, okay? So I'll repeat the same step for the other side, okay? This is one shoulder sewn, okay? I've sewn one shoulder, so I'm going to be repeating the same step for the other one. So now we have matched our two shoulders together. So here's one of the shoulder, okay? It's nice and neat, and here's the other one. They are both looking nice and neat from the inside and from the outside. So the idea is to have a clean finish, okay? The idea is to have a clean finish. So my shoulder is looking really nice as well, just the way my joining seam is as well. So the last thing I'm going to be doing, okay, not really the last thing, I'm going to shape it, okay? I'm going to shape it with the right measurement. I'll shape it and I'll fit in my zipper, then I'll show you guys what that looks like, okay? I'm going to put in my measurement, then I'll sew around the shape, then I'll fit in my zipper. Then the last thing to do is to fit my sleeve, then I'll show you guys what it looks like. I don't have an idea of sleeve I'm going to be doing yet, because it's just 3 years, it's just 3 years fabric, okay? So but I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial so far. I've been able to show you guys all the technical parts, all the things you need to know to finish your seam properly and all that. You see the inside is looking really nice. That's what I really want to show you guys. I really want you guys to see this, to know how beautiful it's looking on the inside. So I'm going to shape it. I'm going to be joining the back and the front together, then I'll add my zipper, I'll add my sleeve, then I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. So hi guys, so here's the finished look of the illusion neckline that we made, and it's looking all nice and beautiful, guys. So I hope you guys are going to be able to use this pattern to create something nice for yourself. So from the tutorial you can draw out any style line that you want. Like I said in the beginning of the tutorial, you can add a skin tone net around all of this part to give it a more illusion look, okay? And you can open more skin as much as you want around here. So if you want more skin, you can open it, you can add an illusion net. So as you can see, the back is looking all nice and flat, okay? So the back is looking really flat, the zip is looking really flat. So, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video as much as I did when I was making this video. So, and I hope to see you guys project, and I hope to see you guys come up with something really nice and beautiful as well. So I had to use this lace because that's what the client wanted. So you can use a skin tone mesh for your own project. It will give it a more illusion look. So and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel, and give this video a thumbs up if you find this video interesting. And I'll see you guys again. Bye.